The restaurant is one of those places with white tablecloths and waiters who refill your water glass before it's half empty. Derek chose it deliberately. He's sitting across from me with his tablet propped between the salt and pepper shakers, showing me slides about his revolutionary AI startup. The lighting catches his face just right, makes him look earnest and ambitious. He's rehearsed this. He needs $500,000 from me to close his funding round. The pitch is smooth, confident, designed for someone who doesn't understand technology but has money to invest. Charts showing hockey stick growth projections. Photos of an impressive office space with employees at standing desks. Names of major tech investors who've supposedly already committed millions. He's talking about market disruption and artificial intelligence and how this is a once-in-a-lifetime ground floor opportunity. I'm asking thoughtful questions, leaning forward like I'm genuinely interested. Derek answers each one smoothly, has prepared responses for everything. I can see him relaxing as the lunch progresses, confident he's reeling me in. He probably thinks I'm just a wealthy old woman who got lucky selling some software company decades ago, doesn't really understand the tech world anymore. We'll write him a check because he's married to my daughter. What Derek doesn't know is that I spent 40 years building that software company before I sold it for $80 million. I know every startup pitch in existence. I reviewed hundreds of investment opportunities over my career. And the moment Derek started talking, I recognized his pitch word for word. It's plagiarized entirely from a real company called Service AI that I looked at 6 months ago. His office photos are stock images. His committed investors don't exist. His patents aren't filed. His technology is fiction. This isn't Derek struggling with entrepreneurship or exaggerating slightly to attract investment. This is calculated, professional fraud. And my daughter Emily has no idea she's married to a con artist. I could confront him. Could tell Emily tonight. But Derek is too practiced at manipulation. He'd deny everything, make me sound like an overbearing mother trying to sabotage her daughter's marriage. Emily would defend him because she loves him, because she's 3 months pregnant with his baby, because admitting the truth would shatter everything she believes about her life. I'm going to do what I do best. Play the long game. Let Derek think he's got me hooked while I investigate everything about him. Build a case so complete that when I expose him, there's no way for him to talk his way out. No way for Emily to doubt what's right in front of her. I tell Derek the pitch is impressive, that I want to think about it, talk to my financial advisor. He smiles, says of course, take your time. Creates artificial urgency by mentioning the funding round closes in 60 days. Classic pressure tactic. He thinks he's already won. Has no idea I'm 10 steps ahead. If you've ever had to protect someone you love from their own terrible choice in partner, leave a comment. Subscribe if you believe that sometimes the kindest thing you can do is let someone see the truth themselves. Let me tell you how I let my son-in-law think I was writing him a $500,000 check while I spent 6 months exposing his entire con. I'm 67 years old, been a widow for 4 years. My husband Mark was a mechanical engineer who spent 35 years designing aerospace components. Careful, methodical, believed in building things that lasted. I started my software company at 32, grew it to 300 employees, sold it 5 years ago for $80 million. Retired at 62 after 30 years of 12-hour days. I have one daughter. Emily is 35, works as a pediatric nurse, makes about $70,000 a year. We have dinner every Tuesday night. She's warm, caring, genuinely wants to help people. She's my best friend. Emily met Derek 4 years ago at a charity fundraiser. He was networking in an expensive suit, introduced himself as a business consultant. Charming, handsome, knew how to make Emily feel special. They dated a year before getting married. I had reservations from the start, but kept quiet. Derek's job was always vague. Business consulting for startups, he'd say. Never named specific clients. Never had concrete work stories. Just smooth talk about strategy and disruption. Emily was happy, so I didn't interfere. Smiled at their wedding, wrote them a $10,000 check. Hoped I was wrong about him. 3 years later, Derek still hasn't held steady work. Quit his consulting 6 months after the wedding. Said he was planning something bigger. Emily supports them on her nurse's salary while Derek works on various schemes that never materialize. She defends him constantly. Says entrepreneurship takes time. She believes in him, that I stay quiet because what else can I do? Criticizing Derek would only push Emily away. 2 weeks ago, Derek called asking for lunch to discuss an exciting opportunity. I knew immediately what this meant. After 3 years of marriage, he was finally making his move on my money. The lunch was yesterday. That pitch about smart service AI, revolutionary artificial intelligence for customer service automation. He had slides about market size, competitive advantages, technology patents, photos of beautiful office space with his team, a list of prominent investors already committed. Everything designed to look legitimate, but I recognized the pitch instantly. 6 months ago, a real company called Service AI sent me their investor deck for series of funding. I passed, wasn't interested in active investing anymore. But I remembered it because it was well constructed. Derek's pitch was identical. Same market analysis, same technology description, same projections. Just change the company name and replace screenshots with stock photos. Even use Service AI's actual patent numbers. The office photos were WeWork stock images. I recognized the furniture from touring spaces 2 years ago. The investors he named? I know them personally. One is retired, doesn't invest anymore. Two don't do early-stage startups. Derek just pulled impressive names assuming I wouldn't verify. This wasn't exaggeration to attract investment. This was pure fraud. Professional con designed to steal $500,000 from me. And my daughter Emily, 3 months pregnant with his child, has no idea what her husband really is. That I played along perfectly. Asked intelligent questions, expressed cautious interest. Derek responded smoothly, prepared for everything. When I said I needed to review materials and talk to my financial advisor, he created urgency. Funding round closes in 60 days. Limited spots available. Don't miss this opportunity. I told him I'd get back to him next week. He paid with what I'd bet is a maxed out credit card. Walked me to my car, hugged me, called me mom for the first time. Testing familiarity now that he thinks I'm writing him $500,000. I could tell Emily tonight. But she wouldn't believe me. She'd defend Derek, say I'm misunderstanding. She's pregnant and scared and needs to believe her marriage is real. I could go to police. But what crime has he committed? He pitched an investment. No money stolen, no documents forged. They'd call it civil matter. I could confront Derek directly. But then he'd disappear, move to the next victim. Emily would be heartbroken with no proof of what he is. I'm doing none of those things. I'm playing along. Letting Derek think his con is working while I investigate everything. His history, previous victims, complete scope of what he's been doing. Building an airtight case with undeniable evidence. When I have everything, I'll expose Derek so completely there's no way to manipulate out of it. No way for Emily to doubt what she sees. I called my private investigator this morning. Tom, former FBI, does corporate security now. I've used him for background checks before. Told him everything about the plagiarized pitch, fake photos, fake investors. Asked him to dig into Derek's complete background. Employment, finances, previous ventures, everything. Also find out if Derek has pitched this to others. Tom said preliminary information within a week. I told him take whatever time needed to be thorough. Derek thinks he has 60 days to close me. I'm stringing him along however long it takes to destroy him completely. Emily called this afternoon, happy about baby names. Second trimester now, feeling better after morning sickness. Said Derek's been so supportive, so excited about fatherhood. He promised once his company takes off, she can quit nursing and stay home with the baby. I listened and felt my heart breaking. My daughter is building her future around a man who doesn't exist. But I can't tell her without proof. She can't deny S.O. I smiled and suggested names for my grandchild and told her I loved her. And started planning how to save her from the biggest mistake of her life. Derek calls 3 days after lunch. Wants to give me a tour of Smart Service AI headquarters so I can meet the team. His voice is enthusiastic, confident. I tell him that sounds wonderful. We schedule for Tuesday. The address is a WeWork. Shared co-working space with flexible memberships. You can rent conference rooms by the hour. I arrive early and watch from my car. Derek meets me in the lobby wearing dark jeans and rolled-up sleeves. The casual founder look. The headquarters is a glass-walled conference room. 3 people working on laptops. Derek introduces his team. The CTO talks about artificial intelligence architecture in vague, impressive-sounding terms. When I ask specific technical questions about machine learning models, he gives abstract answers that mean nothing. I've hired enough engineers to recognize someone who doesn't understand the technology. Whiteboards covered in diagrams I recognize from real AI companies. Stock photos taped to walls. Professional logo on presentation board. Everything is set dressing. The 3 team members are clearly uncomfortable, probably freelancers hired for the afternoon. One keeps checking his watch. I play impressed. Take notes, ask about development timeline, nod appreciatively. After an hour, Derek walks me out. Thanks me for taking time to see the operation. I tell him I'm very impressed, just need due diligence. He understands completely. I call Tom immediately. Tell him about the fake office and employees. He has preliminary information and asks to come by tomorrow morning. Tom arrives at 8 with a thick folder. Derek's employment history is fabricated. The consulting firm's never heard of him. His USC degree doesn't exist. Registrar has no record. His entire professional background is fiction. Derek grew up in Phoenix, dropped out of community college. Worked retail, sold timeshares, did door-to-door security system sales. No tech background, no business experience. But there's more. Derek is pitching smart service AI to other investors. Tom found 3 people Derek approached in past 2 months. All elderly, all wealthy, all without close family to advise them. Howard, 72, retired dentist, widower. Derek met him through church. Howard wrote Derek a check for $300,000 3 weeks ago. Waiting for equity documents, Derek keeps promising. Howard is called twice asking about paperwork. Derek keeps stalling. Patricia, 68, widow of real estate developer. Derek cold called her. She wrote him $200,000 6 weeks ago. Also waiting for documentation. Frank, 70, retired executive. Derek met him at golf club. Frank is considering investing but hasn't written the check yet. Wants to see financial statements first. Tom explains the pattern. Derek collects investment money with promises of documentation. Stalls as long as possible. Eventually tells investors the company didn't work out, lost their money. No formal contracts, nothing to sue over. Investors too embarrassed to report being scammed. Derek moves to new city, starts over. This isn't his first time. Tom found Derek ran same scheme in Seattle 4 years ago. Different company, same format. Stole $400,000 from 2 investors. Portland before that, took $250,000 from a widow. He moves cities every few years, changes company names, targets wealthy people through social connections. Marries into families with money when opportunity presents. The realization hits me. Derek didn't just happen to meet Emily. He targeted her because research showed her mother sold a tech company. He crashed that fundraiser specifically to find her. The 3-year marriage has been Derek's long con to access my money. Emily wasn't the woman he fell in love with. She was the access point to $80 million. Tom found one more thing. Derek but dialed a friend 2 months ago, left an accidental voicemail recording. In it, Derek talks about marrying into money, playing it slow. The friend asks if 3 years isn't long to wait. Derek says it's worth it for $80 million, that his wife is clueless. Tom has the audio file. I tell him save it. I'll need it later. I ask about Howard and Patricia, the 2 who already gave Derek money. Tom says they're still waiting for equity documents, still believing Derek's excuses. They don't know they've been scammed, that I could warn them now. Save them from losing more. But if they confront Derek, he'll know someone is investigating. He'll disappear. Emily will never learn the truth. So, I make the hard choice. Let Howard and Patricia stay scammed for now. Focus on exposing Derek completely so all victims get justice together. They've already lost their money. Waiting means Derek stays confident, keeps providing evidence, walks into the trap I'm building. I tell Tom to keep monitoring Derek's activities, document everyone he meets with. Also, find background on those 3 fake employees at WeWork. Then I tell Tom my plan. I'm creating a fake venture capital firm interested in Derek's company. Make him think he's landed not just my 500,000, but 2 million from serious investors. Bigger carrot means more evidence, more time to investigate. Tom says that's risky. If Derek researches the firm and finds it's fake, he'll know. I tell him the fake firm has to be perfect. Professional website, real office borrowed from contacts, business cards. I have connections to make it legitimate. Derek is greedy and overconfident. He won't look too closely at $2 million. Tom agrees to help. We'll call it Summit Ventures. Create portfolio of fake investments. Make Derek think he's dealing with major players. I'll introduce Derek to Summit next week. Let him think his pitch to me opened doors to institutional money. Every interaction with Summit will generate more fraud evidence. Emily calls that evening. Upset because Derek snapped at her. Says he's stressed, working hard on business development. I want to scream there is no business. Instead, I comfort her, say stress is normal for entrepreneurs. She thanks me for understanding. Says she knows I had doubts about Derek at first, but she's glad I see how hard he works now. Emily thinks I'm finally accepting her husband. Actually, I'm building the case that will destroy him. After we hang up, I sit in the dark thinking about the next 4 months. Derek thinks he's close to stealing $500,000 from me. Actually, he's walking deeper into a trap with every conversation, every fake document, every L I eat. By the time I'm done, Derek will look like exactly what he is. A con artist who married my daughter to steal from me. And Emily will see it so clearly she'll never doubt it again. I recruit my former COO Richard to pose as managing partner of Summit Ventures. Richard ran operations at my company for 15 years before I sold it, understands tech investing inside and out, can talk the language convincingly. He's retired now, finds the whole scheme entertaining. Says he's happy to help expose a con artist preying on elderly people. Tom builds the facade. Professional website showing Summit Ventures' portfolio of successful investments, all fake but plausible. Office space borrowed from a friend who runs a real VC firm. Business cards with embossed logos. Everything designed to pass Derek's scrutiny if he bothers to verify anything. I call Derek and tell him I mentioned his company to a friend who runs a venture capital firm. They're very interested in the AI space, would like to meet him. Derek's voice practically vibrates with excitement over the phone. This is beyond what he expected. He thought he was playing me for 500,000. Now he thinks there's institutional money on the table. The meeting happens the following Tuesday. Derek arrives at Summit Ventures' borrowed office in a new suit he probably can't afford. Richard greets him warmly, introduces 2 associates, also my former colleagues playing roles. They sit in the conference room while Derek gives his pitch again. Richard asks probing technical questions Derek struggles to answer. Questions about the source code architecture, the training data for the AI models, the scalability of the infrastructure. Derek provides vague responses, promises to send detailed documentation. Richard expresses interest in leading a $2 million funding round. Derek tries to hide his excitement, but I can see it in his face. He thinks he's struck gold. Summit tells Derek they need to do due diligence. Standard procedure for investments of this size. They request financial statements, customer contracts, technology documentation, everything a real VC would want to see. Derek promises to provide it all within 2 weeks. He scrambles to create fake documents. Tom monitors Derek's activities, watches him hire freelancers on Craigslist to create fabricated financial statements and contracts. Each fake document is more evidence. Derek thinks he's impressing sophisticated investors. Actually, he's building his own prosecution case. Meanwhile, Emily's pregnancy progresses. She's 4 months now, starting to show. She's glowing every time I see her, talking about nursery themes and baby names. Derek has been sweeter to her lately, probably because he thinks his big payday is coming soon. Once he gets the money, he'll disappear. Emily will be left pregnant and alone, wondering what happened to the husband who promised her everything. I can barely sleep thinking about the timing. Emily needs to know the truth before the baby comes. But she also needs to see it in a way she can't deny. If I tell her privately now, Derek will convince her I'm lying. He'll say I'm trying to sabotage their marriage because I never approved of him. Emily will defend him because she's pregnant and terrified of being a single mother. Tom completes his investigation of Derek's previous victims. Found 2 more beyond the ones in Seattle and Portland. In Denver 3 years ago, Derek scammed a retired couple out of $300,000. In Sacramento before that, took $150,000 from an elderly widow. Total victims over the past decade, at least 8 people, over $1.5 million stolen. None of them reported it to police. All were too embarrassed to admit they'd been conned. Derek knows this about elderly victims. They don't want their families to know they made a foolish financial decision. They stay quiet and Derek gets away clean. Tom managed to track down the widow from Sacramento. Her name is Helen. She's 74 now. She lost her entire retirement savings to Derek's con 5 years ago. Had to move in with her daughter. Lost her independence. Lives with the shame of having been duped. Tom recorded an interview with her explaining what Derek did. How he targeted her at church, cultivated a friendship over months, pitched her a medical device startup that didn't exist. How he disappeared after she gave him the money. I watched the video of Helen explaining what Derek did to her, and I feel rage burning in my chest. This is what Derek does. This is who he is. He finds vulnerable people and destroys their lives methodically, professionally. My daughter married this man. Is carrying his child. Derek continues providing fake documentation to Summit Ventures. Financial statements showing revenue that doesn't exist. Customer contracts with companies that never sign them. Technical specifications for software that was never written. Richard plays along perfectly, asking follow-up questions that force Derek to create even more fake evidence. I ask Tom what happens legally once we expose Derek. Tom explains that fraud charges require proving intent to deceive. The fake documents Derek is creating for Summit Ventures prove intent. The previous victims Tom found established pattern of behavior. The audio recording of Derek discussing his plan to con me through his marriage to Emily shows premeditation. We have enough for the district attorney to prosecute criminally, but Tom warns me that trials take time. Derek could make bail, could flee before prosecution. Better to expose him in a way that destroys him socially and professionally first. Make sure everyone who matters sees what he is. Then let law enforcement handle criminal charges. I tell Tom I plan for the final exposure. Host an investor celebration dinner. Tell Derek it's to celebrate Summit's commitment to fund his company. Invite Emily. Invite Derek's parents who believe their son is a successful entrepreneur. Invite all of Derek's victims to attend. Use the dinner to reveal everything publicly with all the evidence displayed for everyone to see. Tom says it's risky. Derek could bolt before dinner if he suspects anything. But if we pull it off, Derek will be exposed in front of everyone who matters to him. His wife, his parents, his victims. No way to gaslight or manipulate when everyone watches the evidence presented simultaneously. Richard agrees to host the dinner at an upscale restaurant. Private room that seats 20. We set the date for 3 weeks out. Tell Derek it's to celebrate closing the funding round. Derek is thrilled. Thinks this dinner validates everything to Emily's family. Actually, it's where I'm going to destroy him. Emily asks me about the dinner. Derek told her there's a celebration for his investors. She's excited, proud of her husband. Bought a maternity dress for the occasion. Says this proves I was wrong about Derek, that he's going to be successful like he always promised. I smile and tell her I'm happy for them both. And I start planning exactly how I'm going to reveal that the man she loves doesn't exist. The dinner is Thursday evening at a steakhouse with a private room. 20 guests. Derek thinks they're celebrating his success. He has no idea what's actually happening. The guest list includes Derek, Emily, Derek's parents from Phoenix, Richard and his Summit Ventures associates, Tom, and 5 of Derek's victims. Howard, who gave $300,000. Patricia, who gave $200,000. Helen from Sacramento, who lost her retirement 5 years ago. 2 others from Denver and Seattle. Derek doesn't recognize any victims when they arrive. He scammed them years ago in different cities. They look like any other well-dressed guests. Derek works the room, shaking hands, playing successful entrepreneur. Emily looks beautiful in her maternity dress. 5 months pregnant, glowing, proud. She introduces Derek's parents to me. They're beaming, telling everyone how brilliant their son is. how proud they are. Derek stands to give a toast once everyone is seated. Holds champagne glass, confident. Thanks everyone for believing in him. Thanks me for faith in Smart Service AI. Thanks Summit Ventures. Thanks Emily for supporting him. He's proud, triumphant. Emily is crying happy tears. Derek's parents beaming. This is everything Derek wanted them to see. Then I stand. Tell Derek I'd like to share something. Derek sits down smiling, expecting praise. I walk to the projection screen Richard set up. I explain that 6 months ago Derek pitched me an investment. $500,000 for his AI startup. I was impressed. But I'm a former tech CEO. So I verified everything. Derek's smile falters. First slide appears. Derek's pitch deck beside Service AI's pitch deck. Word for word identical. I explained Derek's pitch was plagiarized entirely. He copied someone else's work and changed the company name. Derek stands. Says this is inappropriate. We can discuss privately. I tell him to sit down. We're not done. Next slide shows Derek's office photos beside WeWork stock images. Identical. I explain his headquarters don't exist. The office tour was rented conference room with hired actors. Derek tries interrupting. Richard stands, says Summit Ventures did complete due diligence. Every document Derek provided was fabricated. Every financial statement fake. Every customer contract with companies that don't exist. Derek's parents stare at him. His mother asks what's happening. Derek says I'm lying, trying to sabotage him. Emily grips the table edge. Pale did I show Derek's employment history beside verification from companies. None ever heard of him. His college degree doesn't exist. His entire resume is fiction. Then I explain Derek didn't just pitch me. He's been running this scam for years. I gesture to Howard, who stands. Says Derek took $300,000 from him 3 months ago. Still waiting for equity documents. Patricia stands. $200,000 6 weeks ago. Same story. Frank stands. Says Derek almost got him, but he got suspicious. Helen from Sacramento stands with tears. Tells how Derek destroyed her retirement 5 years ago. 2 other victims stand sharing their stories. Different cities, identical cons. Derek is standing, wild-eyed, looking for exit. Says these people are lying. I paid them. I play the audio recording. Derek's own voice talking about marrying into money, playing it slow, waiting 3 years for $80 million. His voice saying his wife is clueless. Emily makes a wounded sound. Staring at Derek, hand over mouth, did I explain Derek didn't meet Emily by chance. He researched me, crashed the fundraiser to meet my daughter. The 3-year marriage was his long con. Every romantic gesture, every promise, every moment was calculated to access my money. Derek's mother crying, asking if this is true. Derek backing toward door saying this is all a setup. I'm crazy. 2 men in suits step forward. Show badges. Detectives with fraud division. Explain Derek is under arrest for wire fraud, theft, identity theft. Months of documented evidence. 5 victims willing to testify. Recorded confession. Derek tries to run. Detectives grab him, pull arms back, snap handcuffs while he yells this is entrapment. I set him up. None of this is legal. One reads his rights. Derek being dragged toward door, yelling. He looks at Emily, says she has to believe him. I'm lying, he loves her. Emily turns away, hands over face. Detectives take Derek out. Door closes. Room silent except Emily crying. Derek's parents sit stunned. His mother asking what happened. His father, head in hands. Howard approaches. Thanks me for exposing Derek before he scammed anyone else. Patricia hugs me crying. Helen says Derek destroyed her life 5 years ago. Grateful he's finally being held accountable. Emily hasn't moved. Sitting with hands over face, 5 months pregnant. I approach carefully. Touch her shoulder. She flinches away. She stands, grabs purse, heads for door. I follow to parking lot. She's walking fast, crying. I catch up, say her name. She spins around, asks how I could do this. Expose Derek at dinner in front of everyone. Let her sit there believing her husband was successful while planning to destroy him publicly. Let her get pregnant knowing what he was. Did I tell her if I'd told her privately? Derek would have denied everything. Said I was lying, trying to sabotage their marriage. She would have defended him because she loved him. Because she's carrying his child, she needed to see evidence she couldn't deny. Hear Derek's voice saying she was clueless. Watch him arrested so he could manipulate out of it. Emily says she still loves him. Despite everything, she still loves who she thought he was. She's pregnant, and her marriage was never real, and she doesn't know how to process this. I tell her I'm so sorry. That I try to find a way that didn't hurt so much, but there wasn't one. Sometimes love means letting someone see painful truth instead of living in comfortable lie. Emily leans against car crying. Asks what she's supposed to do. I tell her she comes home with me. We figure this out together. She's my daughter. I love her. I'll help her through this. She collapses into my arms sobbing. We stand in parking lot while she grieves the marriage that never existed. Inside, Derek's parents are leaving. His mother won't look at me. His father stops, says quietly they had no idea. Derek told them he was successful. They believed him. I tell him I'm sorry. He nods, walks away. Tom helps gather evidence. Richard packs projection equipment. The 5 victims exchange contact information, planning to support each other through legal process. Derek is at county jail being processed. Prosecutor says they have overwhelming evidence. Derek will be charged federally for wire fraud. Faces 10 to 20 years. Did I drive Emily home? She sits silent, staring out window. When we arrive, she goes straight to her old bedroom. Closes door. Did I sit in my kitchen thinking about 6 months of investigation? Creating elaborate fake venture capital firm. Planning every detail of tonight. Derek thought he was smartest person in every room. Thought he could manipulate me because I'm an old woman who got lucky in tech. He had no idea I was 10 steps ahead from the moment he opened his mouth, but winning doesn't feel good. My daughter's life is shattered. She's pregnant and alone. Her husband is in jail. Everything she believed was a lie. I protected her the only way I could, but protection hurts when it requires destroying everything someone loves. Tomorrow, Emily will file for divorce. We'll start rebuilding as single mother. We'll slowly accept the man she loved never existed. Tonight, she's grieving. And I'm sitting in my kitchen knowing I did what needed to be done and wishing there had been any other way. 6 months after the dinner, I'm 68 and my daughter Emily lives with me again. She's 7 months pregnant now, facing single motherhood with a child whose father is serving 12 years in federal prison for fraud. Derek pleaded guilty to avoid trial. The evidence I compiled was overwhelming. He'll be 60 when he's released. Emily and my relationship was damaged by the exposure. For 2 months, she barely spoke to me. Felt betrayed that I knew for half a year and didn't tell her. Felt humiliated that the dinner happened publicly with Derek's parents and strangers watching. Felt manipulated even though I was trying to protect her. Slowly, she began to understand. Derek was a professional con artist who would have talked his way out of any private confrontation. The public exposure with irrefutable evidence was the only way to make sure Emily saw the truth instead of Derek's version. I didn't enjoy destroying her marriage. I hated every moment. But protecting Emily mattered more than Emily liking me. Do we talk now? Emily still lives with me, saving money for eventually getting her own place. We're preparing the nursery together. She decided to keep the baby despite everything. Says the child deserves a life, even if Derek doesn't deserve to be a father. She's already decided Derek will have no parental rights. He signed them away as part of his plea deal. The 5 victims Derek scammed recovered almost nothing. He'd spent their money on luxury items and personal expenses. The civil judgment against him is worthless. But they got justice. They got to see Derek arrested, led away in handcuffs while he screamed that none of this was fair. Derek sends letters from prison. Says he's sorry, claims he really did love Emily, insists the business was real and I sabotaged it with my investigation. Emily stopped reading after the first 3. Gave them to her lawyer, who uses them as evidence. Derek remains manipulative and dangerous. My grandchild will be born in 2 months. A girl. Emily is naming her Grace because that's what it took to survive Derek. Grace to forgive herself for not seeing what he was. Grace to move forward despite everything. Derek's parents never contacted us again after the dinner. I heard through someone that they moved to a different state, too ashamed to stay where people knew what their son had done. The smart service AI pitch deck Derek showed me is framed in my office with a small plaque that says trust, but verify. I look at it sometimes and think about the $500,000 Derek thought I'd give him. The 6 months I spent investigating instead. The dinner that destroyed his con completely. People who were there still ask if I was too harsh. If exposing Derek publicly was cruel. I don't care about their opinions. I protected my daughter, the only way that would actually work. Emily's marriage was destroyed, but at least Emily got out before Derek stole my money and disappeared, leaving her with nothing. She's rebuilding. Stronger than she knows. In 2 months, she'll have a daughter to raise and a future to build. She'll do it without Derek. Without his lies, his manipulation, his empty promises, I'll be there helping her. Being the grandmother Grace deserves. Making sure my granddaughter grows up knowing that being smart and strategic isn't cold. Sometimes it's the most loving thing you can do.